Hey friends, it's Shayla here. So I'm here to do another vlog for you. This is more of a documentation style vlog to answer a common question that I get asked quite frequently, especially by other content creators, and that is, how much time do I spend reading a week? So I downloaded an app on my phone. It's called Bookly. This is not sponsored, by the way. This is just, I've seen other content creators use it to track their reading because they were curious as well. If it'll focus here. It's that little blue bee. And what it does is it lets me prop you up somewhere. Okay, that's gonna have to do. But anyways, so what you do is you put what you've read into the app, and then what it does is it tracks, lots of something I'd been looking for. But essentially, what it does is it tracks how many pages you've read, how long it took you to read them, and all those kinds of things. So I technically started this project yesterday, but I was a complete garbage human yesterday and didn't even really get ready till I did my live stream with Lita, which will be linked down below if you haven't watched it, because it's over on her channel. Did I save one of them? Sorry, this app is still new to me, so I'm trying to figure stuff out here. Where's my Instagram? This is from my Instagram stories, but it'll give you this little graph of kind of the breakdown of everything, and so I really like it for that, but you do have to like intentionally save it somewhere, or you just can't find it on your phone apparently, because I can't seem to find where to find it in the app. So essentially, that's what I've been doing, so I can tell you how long I spent reading yesterday. Let me total up the time here for you. Probably should have done this before I got on camera, but you know, let's see. I literally spent an hour and a half reading yesterday, and I read these 5 volumes of manga, but these 3 could easily be 1 volume of manga because it was 172 pages total. So I read volumes 8 and 9 of Red River, and then I also read My House Servant is Naughty and Cocky with Secrets. I'm going to be talking about this in another dedicated video, so I will leave that linked if it's done, but yes. So, anyways, brief summary. It's a smutty manga where this woman, this busy working woman, puts out an ad for a housemaid, and she thinks she's hiring a college-age woman, but it is actually a college-aged man. He just has a very feminine name. So it's one of those things where they're in a contract, and he has an IQ over 200, so he knows how to, like, milk her for all she's worth if she ends the contract. So she opts to just let him do it anyway. And what she doesn't know is Anyways, so it opens up with, like, this really explicit scene. Like, this is, like, to the nines smut. 5-alarm smutty time. Like, 5-alarm fire, like, 5 chili peppers, the whole thing. Like, it's a fiery, spicy time. And anyways, I can't tell you more than that because it's so short, it'll, like, spoil the big major plot point of why he's there. But he's there for a specific purpose, and that's all I'm going to give you for now. So, that's kind of a low reading Sunday, if I'm honest. My life has currently been taken over by Persona 5. I'm sure some of you have heard me talk about this. And I started a Discord server. It's linked down below if you want to join in. No pressure, of course. But we just have a good chat over there about books, manga, video games, Instagram tips, all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, so the plan for today, the biggest plan for today, is to try to finish Sherwood by Megan Spooner. Because I just keep not picking it up. Now, here's why. So, it feels like the BBC Robin Hood TV show that was on, like, more than 10 years ago, I guess. It would have been, like, 2005, where Richard Armitage plays Sir Guy of Gisborne. Like, it's got a very similar feel to it in a lot of ways. just the plot of this one is Robin's dead, and essentially Maid Marian decides she's going to take over Robin's duties. So it's a gender-swapped Robin Hood. But I thought we would just get a female Robin Hood, not Maid Marian trying to be Robin Hood. My gut says he's not really dead and he'll make an appearance later. But again, this is just my first inklings. I'm about 50 pages into that one, but that was before this experiment started. So that's just kind of where we're at. So I keep smudging my glasses. It's allergy season and my eyes are not happy. So pardon my non-makeup face because I just don't want to irritate him anymore. But anyway, that's the essential plan for today. I've been going on for far too long. I hope I cut a lot of this down. But essentially, I will be using Bookly this week to track all of my reading. So I probably won't give a lot of detail about what I've read, despite what I've done in this clip. I'll probably, if anything, I'll just kind of do a check-in once a day to let you know what I've read and what my running total for the week is, so that you guys can kind of get a good feel, and then we'll do a long discussion about it at the end of the week. So Saturday night, maybe Sunday morning, because you guys won't see this until July. And right now it's June 24th, which is my mom's birthday. So this evening I will be fairly busy, so I have to get a lot done during the day today, which again, it's my Saturday technically, even though it's a Monday, because I take a Sunday-Monday weekend, so that's kind of where we're at. Anyway, let's get to doing the stuffs. Hi friends, so it is now Tuesday night, and I have to say I'm really liking tracking my reading time on this app. It has some really cool features. Again, this is not a sponsored video. If they ever wanted to sponsor me, I'd love it, but it's not. Anyways, so it actually lets you like pause it. So for me at work, that's great because I can just pause it, go do a quick appointment, come back to my reading, and just hit start again. And it keeps the time super accurately. So I really like it for that reason. I have noticed some things in my reading that I hadn't ever noticed before. Like typically with manga, my average reading speed per volume is half an hour to an hour depending on the volume. Typically, it's closer to a half an hour. But when I read the Cardcaptor Sakura volume earlier today, because I read the collector's edition, and when I read that, I noticed that I read it slower. And I think it was just because I was absorbing all of the art more in its bigger format, because it's more art book sized. So it's bigger, and so you can see more of the detail in the art, and I think I was just engrossed by it, and I kept just staring at some of the panels. It was so pretty. So that's one thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed is that depending on what's going on, my reading speed fluctuates. Sometimes when I'm at work, my reading speed's really fast, and other times it's slower. So it's been really interesting for me to kind of do this experiment. But people wanted to know, like, roughly how much time I spend reading. So this has been great to track it, and it's kind of eye-opening for me. Yesterday really was a low reading day for me because I spent way too much time playing Persona 5. It's a mood, but it's still been interesting because there are some times and some days where I really don't read that much. And then other days where I read all day long. So it's just interesting to see the differences. And like today's been a heavier reading day. I've not really picked up Sherwood, but I started this one, which was a book I was sent for review from a publisher. And I'm now about 150 pages into that. And it's only 9 p.m. There's a good chance I'll read another big chunk of this before bed. But I'm awfully tired, so I know I won't stay up too late. But I still wanted to get you guys a clip for today. That's kind of what's going on. Again, this is a really fun experiment for me to do. I hope you guys are enjoying this. And yeah, I will check in again with you guys tomorrow sometime. Hey friends, so checking in again. It is now Thursday. I didn't get to check in Wednesday because I was too busy filming and editing my manga haul so that you guys could watch that today. So anyways, let's chat a little bit. I have really been enjoying checking how much time I spend reading. It's actually been really interesting to me because This has been a low reading week, and it's still a lot more hours than I even thought. So right now I'm sitting at 13 hours, and we're at 4 p.m. on Thursday. By the end of the day, that might be more because I started reading Dengeki Daisy again, so there's a good chance a binge will be happening this evening. The amount of pages read, now this does include manga, guys, so we're looking at 1,875 pages. Yes, that's high, but you have to remember a volume of manga is almost, like a standard volume is somewhere between like 180 and 200 pages. And I can consume those in somewhere between a half an hour and an hour. Now, some things I've found interesting, is like this book, because I was enjoying it so much, my reading speed slowed down, which I found really interesting. So normally something like this I would consume in about 3 hours. It's just shy of 300 pages. This one took me over 4 because I kept enjoying it so much and rereading scenes and just living for this book. Whereas this YA fantasy that I wasn't enjoying as much, I read in about the same amount of time, and it has almost 200 more pages. So one thing we're dealing with there is the detail. I wasn't as interested in the details of this one because I wasn't enjoying it. So I don't think I read it as thoroughly as I was reading that romance book because I was living for it. But the other thing we're dealing with is an adult writing style versus a YA writing style. YA tends to be very accessible for me, and I just tend to read it quicker because one thing is like the text is bigger, and so you're reading more pages more quickly. But yeah, like I spent almost the same amount of time reading both. I'll give you the exact times. So on Justified, I spent 4 hours and 17 minutes reading that one. Whereas Sherwood, I guess it's more than that. I spent 5.5 hours reading Sherwood, so it took me longer than I thought it would initially. But yeah, so those were a lot closer considering their page differences than I thought they would be. Because they're almost 200 page difference, but only about an hour's worth of reading time different, which I found very interesting. And then 2 volumes of manga that are kind of similar, and I thoroughly enjoyed both of these, let me preface. We have Hatsuharu, which I think in this one the panels were just not as detailed. Like, they're still super pretty, but they weren't super text heavy, and it was just fun shenanigans. Where reading volume 9 of Dengeki Daisy, there was a lot of information in this one. There were a lot of details. There was a lot more text. And so it took me twice as long. I think even longer than twice as long, actually. So let me pull this open again. So Hatsuharu took me 24 minutes to read, where Dengeki Daisy took me 50. So basically double the time to read, and the length was identical on both of them. So it's just really interesting how some things will take you way longer to read than others. And again, I thoroughly enjoyed both those volumes of manga. There was not a difference in enjoyment there. It was just, with manga, there's a difference in how text-heavy a title can be, or how detailed the panels are, and things like that. Hatsuharu has a really sweet story. Like, if Hatsuharu were a light novel, like a big chunky light novel, I would totally read it because I think it would just be fun and cute, but I really love the art style, so I'm glad it's a manga. But it's just a breeze to read through, where Dengeki Daisy is dense and intense, and I love it. And I love them both for very different reasons, and they're in the same demographic. They're very different titles. One is very intense and gritty, and the other is just light and fluffy. You can find all sorts of things in all demographics. So, anyways, I just find it really interesting, so I wanted to kind of give you guys the download on that, because it just intrigues the snot out of me. I'm so glad I'm doing this experiment. I hope you guys are enjoying it. We've only got tomorrow and Saturday left on this experiment, and then we'll have my reading time for a week. And I find it interesting. I hope you guys are really interested in it too. And if anybody else does a video like this, let me know in the comments down below, because I totally want to watch it. I want to see if I really read a lot more than other people. Like I say, there's a good chance a binge will be happening tonight because Dengeki Daisy is getting good. Oh my gosh, I'm living for it at the moment. There were several panels in this one that I literally like took pictures of. Even one that I sent to my husband. I'm like, this is totally us. And it's just amazing. The dynamic between these two characters is fantastic. I love it. And their dynamic recently changed, but I'm really enjoying how it changed. So anyways, there's a brief update on, one, what I'm reading, and two, how things are going and how much time I'm spending reading. Now, I didn't read a ton yesterday. That was one of my lower reading days because I spent all evening editing. And then Monday was a much lower reading day than normal because Persona 5 took over my life. So tonight it's either going to be I'm binging everything I want or it's Persona 5. I will let you guys know tomorrow when I check in again. Hey friends, so back to documenting this reading journey. So I've spent all evening reading, so that's definitely changed up some stats. I'll, of course, leave all the infographics, as they call them, and the stats reports for you, as I have been for the previous days. And I finished off Dengeki Daisy for anyone who was curious. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. It all stayed very appropriate for an age gap. So this one's nice and accessible. Nothing naughty was going on. There was a little bit of kissing towards the end, but outside of that, it was all great. And it was just cute and adorable and just what I wanted it to be, because it had enough like suspense and other stuff involved that made it interesting, that I ended up enjoying the story as a whole. I kind of want to go back and reread the whole thing again. Because, you know, I only binged like the latter half of it today because, you know, it's a mood and a thing. And I think when I checked in with you earlier, it was at like 13 hours read for the week, and now it's up to 17. Today was closer to a regular reading day. At work, I didn't get to read quite as much. Work was busier than normal, but especially for an office day. But anyway, still accomplished a lot today. I read like, 9 volumes of manga and finished Sherwood. So it was a successful reading day. I have no complaints here. Want to make that very clear. But yeah, this experiment's so fun because each time some of the volumes of Dengeki Daisy took way longer than others. Again, I think that has to do with size of panel and what's going on in the story. But I think it also has to do with how intense the story is. You know, if it's just kind of a slice of lifey, I tend to read those a little slower and just kind of meander through them. Where if things are like super intense, I'm like gobbling it up as fast as I can. So I think it's just a matter of... Sorry, what's going on? Clearly it's late at night. It's like 11 o'clock or something crazy like that. I don't even know right now. Husband's up playing Super Mario Maker 2 because it dropped at 10 o'clock our time zone. So he's getting some time in on that while I read. And yeah, I think I'm going to crawl in bed because I am quite tired at this point. So I think that's going to be my plan. And after the whole stats download that you guys get, I'll chat with you tomorrow. Hey friends, it's Friday night. So I just got my book haul edited. It's rendering now so it can be uploaded for your viewing pleasure tomorrow in my current time. But that will be in the past. So if you haven't watched it yet, it's linked. So anyhow, I haven't read as much today. I did read a graphic novel and a volume of manga. I have not started a new book yet, because I've been debating, because the month ends and we start a new month on Monday, so I kind of just want to binge a bunch of manga tonight and tomorrow and Sunday. I don't know. I might pick up a book. I should pick up a book. Do I want to, though? It's life, guys. But anyways, I do plan on doing some reading tonight. Tomorrow I won't get as much time to read just because we are going out with friends tomorrow night. And I do work tomorrow, so I won't have tons of reading time. And one thing I caught myself doing today, I've listened to an audiobook quite a bit. I'm 4 hours into the audiobook right now. And I don't speed mine up too quick, so that's pretty close time-wise. So I'm going to tag those hours onto the end of this vlog, obviously, for the grand total. Because I don't know how to really track that very well in Bookly. If there's a feature for that you guys know about, if you're using it, let me know down below. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on this evening. I've got my volume of LDK I could read. I do also have Twinkle Stars that I could start binging, because I could take 1 or 2 of those to work tomorrow. I do have, our dryer needs to be serviced. We need to have the vents cleaned still, because, you know, for a while I thought the landlord was doing it. The landlord's not doing it. It's on me. So now we're getting that properly taken care of this week. So anyhow, that's still not fixed yet. They're not able to come out till next week. So I get to sit at the laundromat for a while, and I'm usually there for a half an hour to 45 minutes to dry the towels. So I usually read manga while I'm doing that, or a book if I'm reading a book. So if I took a volume of Twinkle Stars with me, that could be beneficial. So I might reread volume 1 tonight, maybe start volume 2, and take maybe 2 and 3 with me to work tomorrow, unless I go on a total bender. It's like 8:30 right now, so I probably won't, but at the very least, I'll reread volume 1 tonight, so I can take something fresh and new with me to work tomorrow. But yeah, that's kind of the plan and what's going on at the moment, and reading's still going well. I still find it interesting, like, how much time I spend. Because, like, The Prince and the Dressmaker, that was the graphic novel that I read today, which was adorable. I ended up breezing through that. It went so fast, even though the art style was lovely, and it's full color, so I thought it would take me longer. But I read that just as quick as a volume of manga, and it's almost 100 pages longer. Because it was just shy of 300 pages. So it's just really interesting to see what sucks you in and you read quicker than other things. Like, it's just really funny. I did notice in The Prince and the Dressmaker that there weren't as many panels with dialogue, so I was able to not spend so much time on each panel. I was able to enjoy its beauty and move on, rather than read the dialogue, enjoy the beauty, and move on. So, I don't know, maybe that's part of it. I don't know. It's just interesting to me. But anyhow, check in with you later. Hey friends, Shayla here. So it is the end of this week-long experimental vlog. So I ended up listening to 4 hours of an audiobook this week, which I was really enjoying. And then let's break down the rest of these stats real quick. So total pages read were 4,668. Total time spent reading outside of the 4 hours from the audiobook was 21 hours, making it a total of 25 hours this week. Reading speed in pages, it says 220 pages an hour, but a lot of that is manga and graphic novels, and those I tend to read a lot quicker than actual novels. So that number is very skewed for me, so don't take too much credit in that. And then it says 22 books, but again, a lot of that is manga. So it was actually 2 novels, 1 graphic novel, and then the rest manga. And I go on manga binges regularly, so Best read day in pages was 1,817. Best day read in minutes was 419 minutes that day. And that's for the full 7 days. So this was actually a pretty low reading week for me. I was kind of in a little bit of a funk and I had a lot going on this week. So it was a little bit lower than my average reading week, but it was really interesting to see that. I'm going to continue to track this. And maybe in my wrap-ups, I'll start to share these stats with you guys. If you're interested in that, let me know down below if that's something you would be interested in seeing. But I hope this experiment has been interesting to you guys as much as it has been to me. It's been I've learned a lot about my reading habits and just things I'd never really noticed in my reading before. So it's been an adventure. Again, I hope you found this entertaining. I will leave a link to the Bookly app down below. That's what I use to track all of this. So if you're interested in doing a similar experiment for yourself, you are more than welcome to. And yeah, so thanks again for watching this video. Thank you all for your love and support. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I will see you guys later. Bye.